Well, this is different, isn't it? It's not exactly Ho Chi Minh City or Phnom Penh. No, this is Bangkok. And it is so busy, it is so vast, the buildings are so tall, they stretch for miles. It is absolutely wild. And I can't just spend my time pottering around the back streets anymore. It's too big for that. So I need a map. But can I get a map in Bangkok? Not a hope. Just use Google Maps is what everybody says. Well, I'm old school, so I've drawn my own map. There's the river running through the Chao Phraya River running through the city. These are all the places I want to try to get to. So, got 2 days here, better get cracking. I'll start my visit by using the MRT, Bangkok's metro system. First thing, no durian. It's a foul-smelling fruit. Tastes good, smells disgusting. Bang Phai?
Free half.
One.
Second free.
All this week, all Bangkok's transport is free. It's to get people out of their cars, and it certainly looks like it's worked. Now, this really is a big city. Feels like I'm entering an airport. It's actually a shopping centre, and every floor is a different city. Yeah, a few recognisable names I see. Now, I need to pop in here for something. I will need it later. These will do just the job. Gold goggles as gold feet. Another free ride. Okay. There are plenty of stalls outside and everything is so fresh. Thai street food looks and smells absolutely amazing. Well, I'm heading for my accommodation. I booked an Airbnb and it's not far from the metro station. This is on my map. Here you'd think you see a statue of Christ or the Virgin Mary. I really didn't expect to see this outside a church. Well, here we are, home sweet home, and what a view. Next, let's have a look at the river. There are all sorts of boats up and down this river. It's enlightening just to look out of the boat, and a mix of old and new buildings. Well, so far the map's working extraordinarily well. I'm surprised myself, actually. We took the orange flag boat south, spent about an hour having a little wander, and now on the blue flag heading north for this evening's entertainment. I've never been a huge fan of boxing, and I've not really liked wrestling. I hate the thought of cage fighting, so I'm not too sure why I've decided to come to the Muay Thai, which is Thai boxing. I'm thinking maybe it's a little more gentle and Buddhist. Maybe not then. Having seen two people knocked off scooters whilst walking to this boxing stadium, you'd have thought I've had more sense. But I've been waiting so long for a bus. When I was offered a ride, I took it. And this was 15 minutes of fear. At least I don't show it in my face. I jumped off in Chinatown. The colours, the people. Wow. Oh, look, cockroaches and scorpions and worms. Yeah, you don't get that very often. The sounds, the smells, absolutely amazing. Now I think I know what he's going to do. Oh yes, I was right. Stand back. The Grand Palace is an absolute must for any visit to Bangkok. I'm up early to beat the queues. Remember, it does get really, really, really busy. But the palace is the most wonderful place. So much to see. I could spend a whole day here, but I do have other plans. Well, it's time for my next adventure, and this one will not involve 3 men and a motorcycle. Now, I've been to Bangkok before. In fact, if you watch my videos from India, you might recall that I once set off to run around the world. Well, in doing that, I ran through Thailand from north to south, and in Bangkok, I discovered the art of hashing. I actually hashed in Bangkok, Penang, KL, Singapore, all over the place. And 40 years later, I've come back to do it again. To hash is to follow signs and signals. The signs can be chalk arrows, sprinklings of flour, or even made of paper. Today's hash is rather special. It's the annual memorial hash. It remembers past hashers and grandmasters, honouring them in the traditional hash fashion by watering their graves with beer. It's an all-male hash group. There's not a single woman in sight. And to mark it being the memorial hash, we set off by boarding a riverboat. Today we're starting and finishing at different locations, so there's a fairly good chance of getting lost, but we've each been given a sealed envelope with the finish line details. And with a lending hand, we're all set. For many it's a gentle jog, but remember the signs. You need to be looking for those marks every step of the way. Oh, and the traffic too. Everyone's got a hash name, you don't choose your own. With us today we have Horny Viking, Ladyboy, Pink Panther, Man Boobs and Rawhide. If you don't like the name you're given, you can ask for another, but it'll probably get much worse. The route's been set by the hash hairs and it can take you through the most unlikely of places. Even the locals sometimes join in. Keep following those signs, but be careful. Sometimes they can take you on a false trail all the way back down, boys. You've got to look down, you've got to also look up. And you've got to listen too. The distant shout of on is a hasher calling the way. Locals sometimes help. On! Whoops, that was a false trail. Try again. Hashes are normally between 7 and 10 kilometres. That's 5 to 8 miles. They run in cities and in jungles, and hashing is for all ages and all speeds.
Well, I made it, and I don't think I was the last home. But what an amazing group, what a fun place to come, and what a great thing to do. So I need a beer.
Well, here's our last hasher home, and it's Pink Panther himself. He claims to have stopped for a margarita in the Sheraton on the way. A little relax on a quick word from one of the organisers.
My name is Ladyboy. I'm also being called Peter. I was the co-hair. There's 3 co-hairs and 1 hair. Yeah, the hair is sitting over there. He didn't do shit, and we did all the rest, yeah, so obviously.
Well, if you'd asked me this morning what I'd be doing today, it would not have been this. Walking onto the set of a 1970s sci-fi movie, wearing white to symbolise purity, drinking water to make my mind pure, to be stampeded by monks, seeing a golden pyramid, paying my respects to Buddha, being bombarded by more monks, and little dinky child monks too, and to be in this massive stadium. Well, this is Wat Pradamakeya. Each side of this square is a kilometre. In total it holds 400,000 on the ground floor and 300,000 on each of the 2 levels above. That's 1 million people. Well, what a weekend in Bangkok. That's the end, and I've got to head home. And it's the end of my trip from Saigon to Siam. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to follow my footsteps, I'm going to be putting together another video telling you exactly what I booked, how I did it, and so on, and a little digital interactive goggle guide. And problem is, I better go, because as soon as I land, I've got to start my law degree. I did bring my law book with me, but I'm not sure I've read it. See you next time.